offering incredible home-cooked cuisine. But in the last year, many of these street vendors report an alarming spike in the number of attacks on them and their carts. Our next video shows a shocking attack on one worker, and the recording helped lead to an arrest and create a rally of support from the community. The scene unfolds at a food stand called South Tacos in July of 2022. It's been in business here in South LA for 12 years, serving Mexican food. This woman, 30-year-old India Duerson, orders and pays for a burrito. But when she's told she'll have to wait 5 minutes, she picks up containers of food and throws them to the ground, knocking over massive containers of juice.
What a burrito?
She then walks up to the woman working behind the stand, Bertha Zuniga, who's trying to keep her distance, and proceeds to punch her in the head.
Hey, yo que no hit them.
Jimmy Sauces covers the street food scene on social media and often posts about crime against vendors. Jimmy, there's been an increasing number of attacks on these street vendors and their carts. Why is that?
You know, they're on the streets and they're vulnerable, and you know, they've got no protection from the city, from the police department, from anybody. So they're vulnerable, and people take advantage of the situation, and then they go after them and they rob them and beat them and do all that stuff. So it's just a sad situation.
Right, and we can see how vulnerable they are when you see Berta in this video. Your heart just breaks for her, but I guess I'm really kind of shocked that people are standing around watching this woman attack and trash her cart, her livelihood, and nobody does anything to stop her.
You know, you're right about that. So sad. There was people recording. There was people just standing there not getting involved. I spoke to one of the gentlemen that was there. He said he was scared. He didn't know she had a knife on her, a gun, anything. So they just kind of stood back and recorded just so they can give it to the police.
In many cases, because so many of these people, are immigrants from another country, is there a reluctance to call police, do you think, and report crimes that are happening because they're afraid that they'll be seen as being in the country illegally, or if they are, being deported?
A lot of these cases don't get reported because these people are afraid to call the police and to call any authorities because they think they're going to get cited, maybe even deported. So a lot of times what happens is they just kind of sweep it under the rug and just go out about it just another day.
After attacking Zuniga, Duerson walks back to the food cart and proceeds to spit on all the food still there, before finally making herself a plate of food to go. Duerson leaves South Tacos trashed, the food contaminated and unsellable, and Zuniga reeling from her injuries. The video of the attack is shared on social media and on local news, and within 2 days, India Duerson was identified and arrested. She is currently being held on $60,000 bail while the police investigation into the incident continues. A GoFundMe was set up to support Bertha Zuniga after the attack, and members of the community raised more than $11,000 to cover her losses and pay for her medical bills.